like to play a game? Let me see for how many seconds you can hold your breath. What do you think? Could you hold it for a longer time? No. We all do respire. We take in oxygen and give out carbon dioxide. Do you know why we do that? We have already seen how digestion takes place. There we saw complex materials getting broken down into simpler forms. So they provide energy for various life processes. Organisms do this in different ways. Some use oxygen to break down glucose to carbon dioxide and water, and some use some other pathways. And those pathways may not include oxygen. So whatever the process is, the first step is breaking down of glucose into pyruvate. So glucose, it is a 6-carbon molecule and the formula is C6H12O6. So that means glucose contains 6 carbon atoms in it. Now the glucose, when it is converted into pyruvate, it is then a 3-carbon molecule. And this process of conversion, it takes place in cytoplasm of the cells. Now this pyruvate is broken down in different ways by different pathways. So now let's see what all are the different pathways that helps in the conversion of pyruvate into other products. So as I have said before, glucose, it is converted into pyruvate in the cytoplasm of the cells. So after that, this pyruvate is broken down into ethanol, carbon dioxide and energy in the absence of oxygen. And this pathway is called anaerobic respiration because it doesn't involve oxygen. This type of respiration, or the process of breaking down of pyruvate into simpler particles in the absence of oxygen, occurs in organisms like yeast, and this process is often called as fermentation. Now what happens if there is oxygen present in it? So in most of the animals, including humans, the pyruvate breaks down into carbon dioxide, water and energy in the presence of oxygen. So this occurs in the mitochondria of the cells, and such type of respiration is called aerobic respiration. Now let's see the third pathway. So this occurs when there is lack of oxygen in our body, especially in our muscle cells. So in such cases, for example, when we do a muscular activity like running or jumping, or we are doing a difficult task or something, then you feel sudden cramps occurring on your body, right? So when you do such kinds of activity, your body lacks oxygen. So in such cases, in the mitochondria of the muscle cells, as they lack oxygen, the pyruvate present there is converted into lactic acid and energy. The buildup of lactic acid in our muscles during sudden activities, muscular activities, causes cramps. So these all are the different pathways of how a pyruvate molecule can be broken down into different substances. So if you look into all these pathways, we can see energy being released. So the energy released by these processes, they are used to make adenosine triphosphate, or we simply say ATP molecules. ATP is actually the energy currency of the cell. Whenever the cell needs energy, ATP is broken down and energy is released. So we have seen before that aerobic respiration requires oxygen. So such organisms take in oxygen through respiration. In plants, this occurs by the process of diffusion. So what does diffusion mean? Diffusion means the flow of molecules from highly concentrated regions to low concentrated region. So when plants lack oxygen inside them, oxygen from the surroundings or the environment, they diffuse into the plant. Similarly, carbon dioxide comes out of the plant. So this gaseous exchange occurs by diffusion through stomata. Now during the daytime, when sunlight is present, plants take in carbon dioxide and give out oxygen. And at night, just like animals, plants breathe in oxygen and breathe out carbon dioxide. Now let's take the case of animals. They have different methods for breathing in oxygen or uptaking oxygen from the surroundings. For terrestrial organisms, they use oxygen in the atmosphere. And in the case of aquatic organisms, they obtain their oxygen from the water in the form of dissolved oxygen. But oxygen in water is very low when compared with the amount of oxygen in air. So, the rate of breathing in aquatic organisms is faster than in terrestrial organisms. Now, if we take the case of aquatic organisms, say fishes, they use their gills to take in dissolved oxygen in water and is then taken up by the blood. And in terrestrial organisms, the oxygen is absorbed by different organs in different animals. Irrespective of that, all these organisms, they have a structure that increases the surface area where the gaseous exchange takes place. So since oxygen and carbon dioxide exchange takes place there, that area is very fine and delicate and is often present inside the body of the organism. In human beings, air is taken into the body through our nostrils. Our nose contains fine hairs that help in preventing the dust and dirt particles entering into our body through the air we breathe in. From the nose, the air passes through the throat and reaches the lungs. Our lungs are present inside the rib cage, and in the lungs, the passage divides into fine tube-like structures called bronchi and bronchioles. These bronchioles, they have balloon-like structures towards the end, and these structures are called alveoli. So in humans, this alveoli provides the enough surface area for the gaseous exchange to take place. The alveoli walls are enriched with a network of blood vessels, or we say capillaries. The oxygen in the alveolar sac is then taken up by these blood vessels, and it is then transported to all parts of the body. Now in the same way, carbon dioxide, it is released out into the lungs and is then sent out of the body through our nose. So in blood we have a pigment called hemoglobin or Hb that gives red color to the blood. And this Hb, it has more affinity towards oxygen. So they only help in the transport of oxygen all through our body. But for carbon dioxide, it has more affinity towards water and is mostly transported in the dissolved form in our blood. So that's how respiration occurs in humans and in plants. So hope you understood about the life process respiration in this session. So I will see you all in the next class, and until then, keep healthy. Thank you.